All right, I'd like to call the June 14th, 2022 Planning Board meeting to order. May I ask everyone to stand with us for a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any disqualifications tonight? Again, I'm going to pass everything over to Mr. Gary for the H2OBX item. Do we have anybody else? Okay. Then we have a quorum with 6 people for everything except for H2OBX. I guess you have 5. So, good either way. All right. So we have a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. Approval of the minutes from our last meeting. We've already done that, haven't we?
Approval of the
We have approval of the minutes, but didn't we do that at our special meeting?
And approving the special meeting minutes.
Are we approving the special meeting minutes here? Okay, perfect. All right, approval of the minutes.
So moved.
We have a motion? We have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Oh, minutes are approved. All right. First item is old business. Item PB 22-09, Imagine Currituck 2040 Vision Plan.
All right, thank you, Chairman. We have before you tonight for your consideration the current draft of the Imagine Currituck 2040 plan. This is something that staff has been working on for some years, and now we are ready to move it forward for your recommendation. What you are doing tonight is voting on the current draft. The goal is to then take it to the Board of Commissioners for their vote on the 20th, this coming Monday. Just to give you a little background on why you are considering this today, State Statute 100D requires that a local government have in place a land use plan by July 1st, 2022. Otherwise, it could compromise, hear that echo? It could compromise the county's ability to enforce its zoning through the UDO. This is a change that the General Assembly made in 2019. So in order to not compromise our ability to enforce zoning, we ask you to make a recommendation. We will get this draft plan in place, and then when CAMA returns the plan to us with their comments, it'll be a certified copy. When we get that certification, we will bring the plan back before you at that time. There will be the 30-day public hearing time, and we will go through the process again, which will be the certified plan. So you will see this again. Just wanted to end by saying thank you. We've had 2 great workshops on this plan. We've really found your feedback helpful, and appreciated the interest you've had in the plan and the role you've played. We think it's a great plan, and we think it's a great future for our county moving forward. So thank you for your hard work on this.
Thank you. Does anybody have any discussion continuing on the land use plan situation?
And one more thing, as Jenny passed out earlier, there were a few modifications that she gave. So when you make the motion for this, if you would include those modifications to make sure that they are
Sure.
included. Thank you, Jenny.
So it needs to be kind of worded as, we're just including the additional pages that Jenny gave us, and
Yep, and that is reflected on the suggested motion sheet.
all right.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to make a motion.
All right.
I move to adopt Imagine Currituck 2040 Vision Plan as the land use plan for Currituck County for compliance with the NC General Statute Section 160D, which requires the county to adopt and maintain a land use plan to continue enforce zoning regulations. This motion includes the minor changes presented during the meeting.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, we're one step closer with that one. All right. We're just going to go in order, then I'll be back. It's there if you need it.
All right.
I don't have anything special, so I just use the regular agenda.
Okay. Next item is PB 22-06 H2OBX LLC, request for conditional rezoning. And that's a matter that we took up at the last regular meeting, and that was continued until tonight's meeting to give the board time to review some last-minute changes that were brought to the board's attention. And I guess at this time, we would see if any board members had any questions for staff as we pick up from that point of continuance.
The applicant is also here. Should the board have any questions for them?
Anyone have any questions for the applicant? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Actually, I do have a question for the applicant.
All right.
If that's okay. Yeah.
Sure.
And it's
Yes.
Is the engineer here? The engineer? Yeah, I got a question for you. It doesn't have a whole lot, just a general question. It's kind of off the grid, but I'm curious about something. And you said you loved this kind of stuff last time, so yeah.
Wastewater?
Yeah. I noticed the cabins, okay, that are on the facility. How, as far as wastewater, you know, are they, and because I'm not a camper, I don't do camping, you know, so I don't know a lot about it. How, you know, when you've got a campsite and you know, and how does the sewage and all that work with an RV?
So, regardless of whether it's a travel trailer, RV, or a cabin,
Yeah.
those are treated as the same gallon per day.
Okay.
And then tents are treated a little bit differently. But tents,
But they go
because
to a
obviously
facility. They go to a
facilities,
facility,
they
central
go to
facility on the
bathhouses.
site, right? Tents do.
Right.
Now, and then cabins, do they have toilets and showers and things
They
like
have
that?
hookup, yes.
Okay, so that water, does it go into a drainage system?
Yes, sir.
Into a draining field?
It all goes to the same, and it is all centralized sewer. There's a wastewater treatment
Okay.
plant and disposal facility, so it all goes into a collection system, pump station, actually multiple pump stations to that same existing wastewater treatment plant.
Okay. And that includes the RVs too?
It does.
Because I know some people have, they always want to know, they need to go dump somewhere. They don't, they've been in a camp facility that doesn't
There's
have.
not a dumping station proposed
Okay.
for this
Okay.
facility.
All right. Yeah, I was just curious. We didn't really get into that last time, and I wondered, about it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions? All right, if there are no other questions, we will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move to recommend approval of PB 22-06 H2O OBX LLC because the request is consistent with the land use plan policies ED1, ML4, ES1, ES2, PP2. The request is reasonable and in the public interest because it addresses a need to operate or desired businesses for tourists and perhaps an economic stimulus to local businesses that may share the customer base and residents who may work at the facility.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Mr. Chairman, we will have you back for the next portion for new business.
You're doing such a good job. I was just going to let you keep going. All right. So we're now on to new business. And we have PB 22-07 Currituck County Tax Amendment. Request to amend the Currituck County Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 4, Use Standards, Chapter 8, Nonconformities, and Chapter 10, Definitions and Measurements to make minor corrections and clarifications to the ordinance language related to campgrounds. All right.
All right, thank you, Chairman. This is an ordinance that is a change to the campground ordinance that was approved in February 2022. I'm sure with all the workshops and discussions we've had on campground ordinances, you're well familiar with what was approved. Now that it has been in effect, staff has found a few grammatical and reference errors, which this aims to correct. So there are three basic items, which I will go through. The first item under the requirements for private campgrounds, it eliminates the word facilities from infrastructure facilities. The current code, when it talks about what can and can't be located within the setback, it calls out for infrastructure facilities. Our UDO does not have that term. It simply uses the word infrastructure, so this makes it consistent with Chapter 10 definitions. The second item in that section is that it excludes the access driveway from something that cannot be located in that setback, so the access drive from the major arterial can encroach into the setback. This is an interpretation that was made that we are now putting in code. And the last change is just a update in the reference, in a code reference. The second item deals with non-conforming campgrounds, and this just clarifies that all campgrounds in existence prior to January 1st, 2013 are non-conforming. This is something where the ordinance, as it was written, stated that all campgrounds were prohibited. If you'll remember, when the ordinance was originally considered, we were looking at a non-conforming section, and it was in a bit of a different form. Well, the language never reflected the fact that we didn't adopt that other section. So this clarifies that, saying the ordinances prior are non-conforming. The third and final change to this is just a very simple grammatical change in definitions to alternative camping unit. It removes the word "to" from the definition that was inappropriately added. So a simple grammatical change. And that is what we have for this amendment. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for staff? All right. Make sure I get the right sheet. All right. If we don't, does anybody have any questions? All right. Nobody else to present anything? Anybody here to speak on anything? You guys had anything? Okay. I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'll move to approve PB 2207 because the request is consistent with the land use development goal number 10, policy ED1 of the 2006 land use plan, and add all the amended text language. The request is reasonable and in the public interest by correcting and clarifying language recently implemented in the UDO.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes. Is that,
Okay.
that's it for tonight? So,
That is for the items. I
Yep.
do have a few announcements. Just wanted to update you on the Board of Commissioners budget. There is a workshop tomorrow. It will be hopefully the last workshop the board has on the budget. They are considering two items they want to discuss further. One is the sheriff's office pay, and the other is the Phase 3 salary study, which would be an increase to the upper level positions, or 11 of them. The vote for that is scheduled to be on Monday, the 20th, so hopefully we'll have a balanced budget to go into place on July 1st. Other planning items, just wanted to keep you up to date on what we have coming through our department. On Monday, Baxter Station goes in front of the Board of Commissioners. That is a subdivision right off Baxter Lane, across from Windswept Pines. It's a proposed 55 and older subdivision, 80 lots in a field. What's right now, it's a vacant field. So that's coming on Monday. Some other developments we've gotten in that are going through our TRC process. Panther Landing Phase 2, which is 27 more lots in that neighborhood. Waterley Phase 2, which is 48 more lots. And in the Foss development, Phases 1B and 2 have come through, and that is 79 single-family lots and 19 townhomes. So that's some of the bigger projects that the planning department is currently reviewing. Lastly, planning staff, she is not here today, but today was Lori LaCicero's last day with us. She has accepted a position and is moving to the western part of the state, so we wish her all the best. She has been a tremendous asset to the department, and I personally can't thank her enough for teaching me what she did when I came in. So we will miss her, but we wish her the best as she takes her expertise west. So with that being said, those are my announcements.
All right.
I have a question. Oh, I hear we're getting a Wawa.
Okay. Put on Put
I
on,
mean, they
put
don't-
on
they
the
don't
spot
come
in
in-
a
they don't-
public meeting.
You know, because they're not in North Carolina.
No.
They go from Virginia to Florida.
They proposed one in Kill Devil Hills.
And I've heard there's one at
It's supposed to be
ODX
the
being
first one in the
proposed.
state, just like the Royal
That's
Farms.
what I heard.
Farms, is
and
that
I-
on its way,
yeah.
or is it?
So I personally have not met with any representatives from Wawa. However, I have met with planning staff in Virginia. And the point of meeting with someone in Chesapeake, Virginia, is that the proposed site would be right at the border of Chesapeake and Virginia.
Okay.
The site plan that was showed to the director in Virginia had the gas pumps and retail portion on the North Carolina side with parking and access on the Virginia side. And so because of that coordination, we did have a meeting. They haven't approached, to my knowledge, I have not met with them, but I know that that is out there.
Yeah, I heard something about it. Yeah, kind of. First I heard sheets, and yeah, I'd heard sheets, and so,
Good question.
yeah, I'm curious.
All right, does anybody else have anything? All right, well, thank you very much. Guess we'll motion for adjourn?
I'll second that motion.
All right. Then, meeting adjourned.